Hi children, in today's class we will try to learn the concept of separation of substances in different manner. This is part 2. We have studied part 1, now we go for part 2. Distillation, it is one of the method to separate. What is distillation? The process of separating a liquid from a soluble salt solution by evaporation and condensation. With the help of evaporation process and condensation process of its vapors, it is called distillation. We are going to separate liquid and salt solution. So distillate or distill liquid, what is that? The pure liquid so collected from its salt solution. We have been separated the salt from salt solution and we remain with pure liquid. That pure liquid we call it as distillate. Through distillation and condensation process is called distillate. The salt solution is heated by Bunsen burner. First we have to collect the salt solution and it should be heated. Next, to produce water vapor, there we get water vapor. The water vapor rises and enters the condenser. This water vapor is going to be raised and enters into the condenser. This condenser we call it as Liebig's condenser. Liebig, he was one of the scientists. With the name of him, this condenser has been developed. The water vapor rises and enters the condenser, and through the condenser, the cold water enters the condenser through the water inlet and leaves through water outlet. There will be the inlet and there will be the outlet on the other side, leaves through water outlet. This will be the water outlet and this is the inlet. From here the water enters and it will be cooled down there. Alright. So the pure liquid is called distillate. The liquid which has been separated from salt, we call it as distillate. Alright. Okay, this process we call it as completely distillation. Next process, sublimation. What is sublimation? This method is generally, first of all, why we have to use this sublimation? Employed when a mixture consists of two or more solids such that one of the solids sublimes on heating. For example, from the mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt. Only ammonium chloride can sublime. See now, what happens here? We can explain this with the help of an activity here. Take a china dish and put in it a mixture of common salt and ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride formula is NH4Cl, common salt is NaCl. Place the china dish on a tripod stand. So this is the china dish and this is the tripod stand. Put some sand on wire gauze and place it on the stand. So on wire gauze you have to put some sort of sand. Invert the funnel over the dish and cover the funnel neck. Funnel should be inverted and this funnel neck should be covered with cotton plug in order not to evaporate the gas. Heat the china dish gently using Bunsen burner and a condenser is going to be added to it and another beaker is going to be added and it should be heated. White fumes of aluminum chloride get converted into vapor quickly and white fumes are going to be formed which eventually deposited a fine white powder on walls of the funnel. On the walls of the funnel it is going to be deposited. Ammonium chloride sublimes. So that is what we call it as subliming, converting into vapor. Sublimes, heating and deposited on the walls of the funnel as a fine white powder. Centrifugation, this method of separating the finely suspended particles in a liquid by whirling or spinning the liquid with a very high speed is called centrifugation. Mixture, that is liquid plus fine powder, there are suspended particles, liquid supernatant and settled particles. So this is the centrifuge machine. There is a lid, rotor, test tube holders, mixture samples will be there in the test tube holders, and sediment is going to be settled down in clear liquid will be in upper side. Lower side, in downward side settled particles, that is called sediment, and supernatant will be in the upper layer. Next thing, centrifugation, separate the mixtures by spinning. A centrifuge is a machine that spins very fast to separate heavier and lighter particles of a mixture. What happens in centrifuge? The mixture is placed inside a tube. The tube spins very fast. Heavier particles move outwards to the bottom and lighter particles stay on the top. After stopping, the substance remain separated. So these are the key points. High speed rotation works on idea that heavier particles move outward and lighter particles used in laboratory and helps to separate the liquids or tiny particles. So this is the thing. And next thing is separation of mixture of sand, sawdust and common salt. If you mix sand, sawdust and common salt, how to separate these three? First, sawdust is a very light one. When the mixture is added to water, when this mixture, sand, sawdust and common salt is added to water, the sawdust will floats on the surface. It can be removed easily by skimming. Skimming in the sense taking it out from the top. Through skimming, we can easily remove. And next, there will be the common salt and sand. Salt dissolved completely in water. Salt solution is heated on a china dish. We will get the water vapor. Water evaporates, leaving behind the dry salt. Water is going to be evaporated, and so that salt has been separated, a sand will be left behind. Sand is heavier one and does not dissolve it. It's settled at the bottom. It can be separated using filtration through filter paper. After that, first you can separate sand through filter paper. Then the remaining salt water can be heated and you can separate water and sand there. Likewise, we can do that. And next thing, separation of mixture of iron filings, sulfur and common salt. How to separate them? Iron filings are magnetic actually, so that when you after mixing all these three things, if you take a magnet near it, those iron filings will be stick to the magnet, so that iron filings will be separated from sulfur and common salt. Afterwards, sulfur does not dissolve in water actually, so pour water in the mixture of sulfur and common salt, so that in water common salt is going to be dissolved and sulfur will stay back, and when we pour through filter paper, sulfur will stay on the filter paper and it is dried in sunlight or hot air, so that the sulfur can be separated, and salt water passes through filter paper, and if you heat it, water is going to be evaporated and salt remains get separated. So likewise we can separate them. Separation of mixtures. Is water a pure substance or a mixture? Naturally, the available water, that is river water or sea water, is not a pure substance, because it is a mixture of mixtures as well as these forms of water contains dissolved salts and gases. As all forms of water contain dissolved salts and gases. Okay. Next, can we use this natural water for all purposes? No. Water required for the preparation of medicines, research laboratory and batteries, they should be completely pure. We should remove salts and some unwanted things from the water. So this means all dissolved salt should be removed from water. That is what we call it as distillation, distilled water. So separation of mixtures is important. We cannot use general sea water for all the purposes, sea water or river water. Uses of separation of mixture. Removal of undesirable and harmful substances from naturally available substances. Dirt and harmful germs, contaminants, they are harmful, they can be removed. Extraction of useful substances from natural Salt from seawater. Metals are useful. From ores we can get it. Oils and gases from or petroleum. Okay, they can be get it. Purification of synthetic substances, medicine, chemical and food process. So these are all synthetic substances. These can be purified. Okay, with this we have completed this class, children. I think it is very useful to you. If you learn repeatedly, definitely you will get good marks in the subject. I mean in examination. Don't go for the marks. Try to learn the concept. You are going to get marks as usual. Okay, try to read in order to get better concept. Okay, bye children.